Well, we started out a little slow because we broke down on what we practiced, and it can get the other team some momentum and confidence. But once we moved the basketball, once we stayed with our principles of what we wanted to do defensively, we played much better. I thought we were going to set a record number of deflections tonight because we had 46 with 10 minutes to go. But we obviously took off the press and didn't get many. We finished with 49, which is excellent, but thought we were going to have the highest total of any team I've ever coached, so that was good. Still have a long way to go. Still make a lot of mistakes, a lot of poor passes. Our bigs bring the ball down in traffic too much rather than pass it out or chin it up. Those are all fundamentals we've got to get, but we're taking baby steps, improving, and that's what you want to see.
What is your record for deflections?
The championship team got 54 once, and I thought we were going to get it tonight.
Ricky had 14 blocks. You guys blocking shots like this all the time, all year?
When we get Honest back, we're a better shot blocking team. He's the best shot blocker. Ray and Honest are the two best shot blockers on the team. And sometimes when you play bad defense, you get a chance to block a lot of shots. And that's what happened quite a few times. But this team's much smaller. I mean, that's not going to happen in the next 4 games. But we are a good shot blocking team.
Coach, it seemed like early on Donovan Mitchell made it a point to really attack the paint, attack the basket, get to the free throw line. Just kind of talk about this game.
He did a good job, and I wish Dang would get Donovan's mentality on the three-point line. You know, I think if he misses a couple, it bothers him, and it doesn't bother Donovan at all. You know, he'll just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. That's what I want to see out of Dang, because it's okay to drive and try to get layups, but if you got an open shot after ball movement, you got to take it. But I thought tonight Quentin Snyder made us all better. He made us better. We changed the angles of the pick and rolls. He got in the lane. He did good things and found people. And that's the best game Q's played because he thought a pass before shot for the first time.
I think he had like an 8-0 run by himself at the end of the first half there, right into the second half. How did that change the game?
Well, he took good shots. You know, a couple of times he'd go in the lane and take bad shots. But we need Tony Hicks to play well, and he did tonight. Some of those turnovers really weren't his. It was Mott's on the one play, and then Ryan bringing his man into him the other play. So he's doing a better job in practice, and because of his speed, he's got to play a lot.
For 19 assists on 30 made field goals, are you more pleased with the passing? Are they
The passing was good. The blocking out still has a ways to go. Our 4 presses has a ways to go. This team's going to be very good toward the middle of the season, but we don't have time to wait to the middle of the season because the next 4 games are the toughest stretch I've had since I've been coaching, with the exception of when I coached the Knicks.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by changing the angle of the pick and roll and why you would do that?
Yeah, so let's say I'm going to set a screen over here, and what they do, they down the pick and roll. The guard jumps out so you don't use it, and the big guy's there. So you got to change the angle and screen this way so he comes off and goes down the sideline. Because about 50%, about 80% of teams in the NBA down it, pick and roll on the side, where the guard jumps out and the big stays like this, and you got to change the angle of the screen. And that's something we started doing in the second half, and Q started getting in the lane and creating shots for people.
Coach, it seemed like Mango had a pretty good game as far as getting the ball out to the shooters. It seems like you guys shoot extremely well when the ball goes in and goes out. It seems like he played pretty well today.
Yeah, I thought take away the first 5-6 minutes of the game, and we played good basketball.
Coach, you mentioned the difficult 4-game stretch ahead, obviously starting with Kentucky. On a day like today, how do you keep your team motivated and keep them from looking ahead?
You know, what I basically told them was, look, we got to take a portion of this game, and we got to say that's Kentucky. So Eastern Kentucky pushes the pace. I said, you know, I've never seen a team push the pace as well as Kentucky does since North Carolina, and it looks like, we'll find out today at 5:45, it looks like they push it even faster than North Carolina. And what's impressive about them is that they pass the ball up the floor so quickly, and then they finish so quickly, so they're great runners. So we wanted to play good transition defense to get ready for that. But we didn't look ahead. We didn't work on Kentucky or Virginia or Indiana or Notre Dame. The interesting thing about all 4 of those opponents is how incredibly different they are. You know, they all play such a different style. To go from Kentucky to Virginia is like going from Miami to Minnesota. And then Indiana, of course, is the most different. And then Notre Dame's normal, except you got to go to their place.
Rick, off the subject a bit, looking ahead to Kentucky, with your foreign guys, your foreign-born guys, do you get kind of a kick out of looking through their perspective at say, a big rivalry like this, or just anything?
Well, you'd have to ask them that because we haven't talked about Kentucky too much, but you'd have to ask them that. I don't know what their perspective would be.
But just in general, kind of, you look at a guy like Honest, I think you've talked about it before, being from Egypt, and to talk about the intensity of a rivalry, it's...
Well, I think if you said to Honest, Kentucky doesn't, their fans don't get married on a game day, and they don't have funerals on a game day, he would find that a little different in his culture.
Is it good to sort of sprinkle in a dose of that?
Yeah, I think that. I think he'd find it a little different than what he's used to. And Mats, I'm sure, would find it extremely different.
Is there anything particular you like, though, about those guys, about the guys who come from different places?
Well, I like foreign players. Everyone I've had, the thing that sticks out and what we strive for in all athletes, and I tell them this, the greatest killer of potential is ego. In business, in life, and in basketball sports, greatest potential is ego. Because I always call it edging greatness out. So the foreign players are also, they come in so humble, and their education means so much to them. So they're great students, they're very humble. Now the difficulty is, like Mats, this is also different for him. There's Norway, what's the big deal about missing one pick and roll on defense? Because in Norway, it's not a big deal. Here, it's a big deal. So it's getting him used to this basketball culture that it takes time. But that being said, Gorky Zhang, when he was here, he told a story to the team that, I came here to learn, academically as well as athletically. So I'm not, he told the guys, some of you guys make excuses for your mistakes, then you don't learn from it. He said, I came here to learn the game of basketball because when we came here, he couldn't shoot, couldn't dribble, couldn't pass. Great feat because he was a soccer player. They're all soccer players. Except Mats is a handball player, and I thought handball was like growing up in Manhattan, Queens, where you slap the ball against the wall. That's not handball in no way. So,
what's going to be the focus in practice before Wednesday?
Well, they're a great transition team. I don't know. I can't. I'm not in the NBA anymore, but if they got three guys that. If I was still drafting, I'd put those three guys. I think I would take their point guard, maybe number 1 or 2 in the draft. And I recruited him. I love him as a person, love him as a player. So they got 3 guys, and that's not their only 3 players that are probably going to go top 10 in the draft. They're very well coached. They play excellent defense. They shoot it at certain positions. So it's going to be a really tough game, but the whole 4 games is going to be a tough stretch. We could go 4-0, 0-4. Who knows? Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.